So I started my career as a lawyer. I practiced in New York. After 4 years, I quit my position and I returned to France. It was a rough decision because quitting from corporate office-like type of job and going into something that is very artisanal, where working with your hands is a prerequisite. I wasn't sure I was cut for that. Did an internship at the bakery near my parents' house. I really loved it, and after that I went into grad school. It was a great experience, really learning about bread and practicing very intensely for about a year. I worked for about 2 years in Paris for different bakeries. So the first time I came into this space, it was totally empty. We had to really imagine what it would look like as a bakery. There was a lot of work to transform it into a bakery. For the last 2 years, it felt like I did a lot of different things except baking. We needed a lot of equipment, and there's a lot of electrical and plumbing specifications that are very particular to baking. You know, the equipment was sitting here, but I was not allowed to start because I didn't have the permits at the time. I didn't have the flour or some of the main raw ingredients. Yeah, it was a special day when we started baking. It really felt good. We make about 80 baguettes on a daily basis. It's a process that takes about 36 hours if you include how much time it takes for the sourdough starter to rise. After we mix the dough, we ferment it overnight. The next morning it's ready for cutting and shaping. So typically we wake up around 3 a.m. and we start with baking a lot of the bread that was in the proofer overnight. You want people to have the freshest baguette possible, so that's why we actually do a few batches of baguettes every day, so that someone that comes in at noon doesn't have a baguette that was baked at 6. After everything is baked, we start mixing and prepping for the next day. For the viennoiserie and the croissant, we do several bakes a day. There's nothing better than to hand someone a warm croissant or warm pain au chocolat, and it really makes their day. So I think that makes everyone happy in the back. I think the hardest part was the decision itself. I was coming from a job where I was just pushing paper, typing email, to a trade where I work with my hands every day. You have just a few ingredients. You just have flour, salt, water, and you have to make bread out of it. After having worked for a few years, I felt like a baker, really, which I don't think I would be able to say when I quit my job. There's definitely sacrifices. It truly felt initially like I was failing. I went to an Ivy League law school to going back to my parents. I think if you have that passion and you want to pursue it, it's great that we can have this second chance in life and pursue it. The days I think are just as long as when I was a lawyer, if not longer, but it feels much better because it doesn't, the days go through in a dash, and at the end of the day, I'm still super happy to be baking, and when I wake up in the morning, it's the middle of the night, but it feels great. You have this adrenaline. It's a bit of pressure because everything has to come out right, and everything has to come out at the right time. So it keeps you excited in a sense, and it really feels good.